Over 6.5 years since the lights went out at the old Wembley, the brand new Wembley Stadium welcomes home the national team for the very first time. And what a start in their new surroundings for England as Brazil provide the opposition. Welcome to our coverage here on ESPN. I'm Adrian Healy. Tommy Smith joining me for commentary. Tommy, they often say about football that the English invented it, the Brazilians perfected it.
OK, I suppose I will have to give them that. But I think the big question to be asked now is who's going to bring it to the next level? I mean, if you look back over the last few years, hey, there's been disappointment for Brazil. And there's certainly been a lot of disappointment for England at international level. So the question is, where do we go from here?
Well, it is an international weekend. Plenty of Euro qualifiers around the continent, but plenty of friendlies as well. A couple of results already in, with Scotland winning in Vienna against Austria and Japan beating the newly created side of Montenegro, 2-0.
Yeah, this is a time where a lot of managers are having a look at players now. It's getting down to nitty-gritty times in terms of qualifying for Euro 2008. And of course, World Cup 2010 is just around the corner.
Well, it was October of 2000. The opposition were Germany. It was England's last match at the old Wembley Stadium under Kevin Keegan. It was the opening game in their qualification campaign for the 2002 World Cup, and it went disastrously, it's fair to say, for the English. A goal from Dietmar Hamann from a free kick provided the only goal of the game and the winner for Germany. England will be looking for a fresh start tonight. Welcome back to Wembley, just at the end of the national anthem. England against Brazil. Very few fixtures carry the weight and gravitas of this particular international meeting. Steve McClaren is the man in the hot set, and David Beckham. What a Hollywood return to the England starting lineup it is for the wearer of the number 7. He hasn't played an England game for close to a year. Last in action in the World Cup quarter-final defeat to Portugal. There looked to be no way back for Beckham, but here we are eating our words, Tommy.
Yeah, well, some of us are. I was saying all along that Beckham should be back at this team, and I think he's as good a player as what they have. The question is, how is he going to fit in midfield today with Lampard and Gerrard? And those will be questions. Beckham will be in his ordinary position out there on the right, and can he provide the crosses for Michael Owen and Smith? That's the big question, and if he does, well, he could be in this English team for a long time.
Ledley King partnering John Terry in the centre of defence, which means that Jamie Carragher will slip out to right back, and a debut for Reading's Nicky Shorey. Now, as for Brazil, they're without their captain, Lucia. Of course, some of the golden quartet, Ronaldo and Adriano, have been discarded, but we still have Ronaldinho, and you still have Kaka.
Well, there's still a lot of good players out there, and when you look at this midfield, it's a very good-looking midfield. They've got Mineiro in there. He plays with Hertha, of course, and you've got Robinho, and you've got Wagner Love. Wagner Love coming from Moscow to play. Gilberto Silva, of course. Well, there'll be no surprises for Gerrard in midfield today, because he knows Gilberto Silva very well from his Arsenal days.
John Terry and Gilberto Silva, the respective captains, who both ply their trade in club football terms here in London with Chelsea and Arsenal respectively. And Nicky Shorey at the age of 26. What a story he is, the first Reading player to represent England for over a century, Tommy. The last one was a left-back as well.
Yeah, it's an amazing story. I mean, Reading have really come good this year. Not alone has a couple of caps come their way from Ireland, Shane Long and company, and now you have one here with England. I mean, this is unbelievable for Reading. 100 years, it's a great, proud tradition, isn't it?
Well, two sides for whom the World Cup ended in bitter disappointment last summer, both of them suffering quarter-final exits. Of course, Brazil was so heavily fancied to go all the way in Germany, and England certainly falling short of some expectations as well by going out in the quarter-final. It's been interesting to match the progress of the two teams since that point. Of course, they both changed coaches since that summer of disappointment. Dunga for Brazil and Steve McClaren for England, Tommy. They've had differing types of results.
Yeah, and we spoke to Pajera yesterday on ESPN Soccer Net Press Pass, and he talked about how the team came in and they weren't ready, weren't mentally prepared to play in the World Cup, said they were tired. I was amazed to hear some of the things he said about the team, and you know, I felt that, you know, he could have been talking about any team.
There's Trevor Brooking and Steve McClaren What a night this is for English football. Of course, so much attention will be surrounding that man, David Beckham. They are honouring Alan Ball at the moment with a minute's appreciation rather than silence, which is certainly the trend nowadays.
Yeah, they have taken on the continental view, although I must say I was always very impressed at an English football game. When they give a minute's silence, it was a minute's silence. But unfortunately, in recent years, some of the yabos started to break into applause before it was over. So now they've taken this continental approach to it, an appreciation.
Alan Ball, who used to wear the number 7 shirt for England. Of course, part of England's 1966 World Cup winning team at the old Wembley Stadium. But it's the rebirth of a new national home. There's no place like home, they say. England have been nomadic in their search for a home over the past 6.5 years. They've played in venues like Leicester, like Southampton, Derby and West Ham. But now they have a place to finally call their own, Tommy.
Yeah, I think one of the problems they have, of course, is they may have a place to call their own, but they have a very bad defence, a very patched-up defence. And hopefully, for England, Kaka and Robinho and Ronaldinho will be thinking about home. They'll be thinking about getting back to Brazil, because if their mind is on this game here tonight, it could be a bad news story for England.
Oh, Ronaldinho won't be part of Brazil's Copa America squad, which will be announced in the middle of next week. But he and Kaka weren't about to miss out on an occasion like this. The two perhaps highest profile members of this Brazilian team. It's England going from right to left as we get underway. The first game under floodlights at the new Wembley Stadium, which hosted the FA Cup final just a couple of weeks ago.
And I know Dunga played in Germany with Stuttgart, but I am absolutely amazed to find that 4 out of the starting 11 for Brazil actually ply their trade in the Bundesliga. I mean, everybody talks about the leagues in the world that are good, the leagues in the world that are great. How about the Bundesliga? 4 Brazilian players on it, and the Russian league, 1, Wagner Love.
Well, Wagner Love will be patrolling up front alongside Robinho. It's an early attack here for Brazil. Ledley King is able to stab it away from the danger area. Steven Gerrard completing the clearance, but retrieved by Ronaldinho. First meeting of any sort between these two sides since that infamous World Cup quarter-final in 2002 in Japan, where England took the lead only to go out of the competition courtesy of that Ronaldinho wonder free kick, which sailed over then English goalkeeper David Seaman.
Well, there's so many stories tonight, isn't there? I mean, Michael Owen is back, David Beckham is back. How good will they be? That's going to be the question. And of course, how will this patched up defence do? John Terry has to hold them together.
Well, they're going to face an early test here, that patched up defence, because Ronaldinho is standing over the ball menacingly here. So many weapons to aim for. Paul Robinson actually didn't get there, and England scramble it half away. Some indecision at the edge of the box, and eventually it's Gerrard's pass away. J.Cole, chance to go to work for the first time, and he's upended. That'll be an English free kick.
Well, that was a good breakout for England after they made a real mess of the ball. Keeper never got to the ball. If you come out in that situation, you got to get to the ball. And when J.Cole drives downfield, then he gets taken out of it. But I think England got away with one there, Adrian. Of course, you'd never agree with that.
Now, the first set piece for David Beckham to work with, and he elects to just play it short. Nicky Shorey getting his first touch. From England's most experienced campaigner in Beckham to their least experienced Shorey. It didn't quite work out, though.
Well, certainly if you've watched Beckham play with Real Madrid over the last number of weeks, you have to realise how good the big man is. And, you know, there's all kinds of comments about him going to America. He's going to play with the Galaxy. Will he still be on the team? There'll be a lot of travel. There's going to be a lot of conflict with the Galaxy. So I guarantee you that David Beckham is going to be very, very, very much in the news over the next 6 months or so.
Alan Smith, partnering Michael Owen up front tonight, was unable to retain possession. Cole comes back to win it back again. for England, who build from the back through Ledley King. Steven Gerrard operating in the centre alongside Frank Lampard. Of course, that relationship has been under the microscope. Ronaldinho up against Gerrard, and it looks as though Ronaldinho and David Beckham could well be going face to face for a lot of this contest on that far side of the field.
And isn't that appropriate? Real Madrid and Barcelona playing in a friendly against England and Brazil. I mean, talk about the world game. It doesn't get any worldlier than this.
This is Robinho. Alan Smith was not about to let him settle on the ball. Gilberto looking for the run, which was finally offered by Wagner Love. Has done well to pick out Kaka. Real menace here. It's Kaka for Brazil. He couldn't really get an effective shot away. Ball rather stuck between his feet.
He's doing a great job of switching his balance. Watch when he gets the ball. Look at, he's trying to switch his balance here, trying to get himself set again. And then when he does come up with the shot, it's a very, very weak one. His best effort, I think, would have been just a pull on the ball. But he realised that J.Cole was coming across. He just saw him out of the corner of his eye. I think he might have done better had he pulled on that.
So much pressure on Steve McLaren. Hasn't even been in the job a year. Have a very important game, of course, against Estonia on Wednesday. Perhaps more important than this one.
I must say I don't have much sympathy for him. I could see him coming in okay and taking the captaincy of Beckham and saying, okay, you're going to be, you're only going to be a squad player, fine. But he came in and he got rid of him altogether. He put himself under all kinds of pressure right away, trying to make sure that this was his team. Hey, if you're manager of England, it's your team. You don't have to make those kind of drastic statements, in my opinion. He did, and he's put himself under a lot of pressure. If he doesn't get a result, if he doesn't beat Estonia on Wednesday, he's out of a job.
Nicky Shorey down the line for Alan Smith. What odds would you've got on those two starting this game? Earlier on in the season, it looked to be a remote possibility. In fact, Nicky Shorey, England's left back, is getting married tomorrow. He'd originally booked his stag night for tonight, thinking there was no chance he'd be otherwise engaged.
Well, he didn't realise he would have a group of Brazilians at his stag night, did he?
He's had to cancel his honeymoon as well. He'll be travelling to Estonia instead, trying to fight for European Championship qualification place with England.
And I can guarantee you that's not going to be any honeymoon for England, let me tell you.
This is Shorey. He's played one season of Premiership football with Reading. Beckham inside to Gerrard. Now Frank Lampard helping it on to J.Cole. The width provided by Shorey. Alan Smith with his arm up in the air, hopefully wanting Shorey to deliver the ball long. But England content with the shorter approach at the moment, content with maintaining possession. Ledley King trying to force the issue, but Michael Owen can't protect possession. King is in to win it back. Now, he played the ball into an intelligent area there, Ledley King, thinking the run was coming from Alan Smith, but it wasn't.
Yeah, in the end it was left to Beckham to come and make the run, and England keeping it very conservative at the moment.
There is Dunga, captain of Brazil's 1994 World Cup winning side. Like Steve McLaren, many people in Brazil opposed his appointment last summer. In fact, 67% in one poll were against Dunga being appointed.
Yeah, and amazing how many different clubs he played for after he started out with Corinthians. But even, as I said, a spell in Germany, he can handle himself. And it'll be interesting to see if he can handle this job.
Well, it's Kaka who's been handed an opportunity here, but he showed too much of it to John Terry, who whipped it away from him.
But again, you can see England learned a lesson from what Liverpool did with Kaka. They're not going to let him pick up a head of steam like he did against Manchester United. They're going to have somebody run with him, even if you don't tackle him.
Beckham picks out J.Cole on the near side. Cole showing some trickery, also showing the palm of his hand to the face of Daniel Alves. Shorey on for Smith.
Daniel Alves is one of the most talented right-side defenders in the game at the present time.
Robinho inside to Wagner Love, but nothing doing.
Of course, Robinho and David Beckham trade passes every weekend with Real Madrid.
There has been some paper talk in England over the last day or two that Beckham could possibly be knighted by Tony Blair in his resignation honours list. Will it be a rise, Sir David, before he leaves for Hollywood?
Wouldn't that be appropriate? Sir David Beckham arrives in Hollywood. I was sure I'd be on that list, but I guess I'm not.
Your time will come, Tommy. Your time will come.
Okay.
This is Ronaldinho. Of course, when Beckham first left Manchester United, Ronaldinho was widely touted as his successor. But that never materialised. He went off to Barcelona. And the rest, as they say, is history. Ronaldinho dancing his way through the centre of the English midfield.
Yeah, one just wonders if Alex Ferguson had been capable of getting Ronaldinho to play with Manchester United. What a difference it would have made.
Here he is again. Gilberto, Ronaldinho picking out Wagner Love. Ledley King sticking to him like glue. Wagner Love plays his football in Russia with CSKA Moscow.
The hair's not blue today.
Oh, Kaka upended by a ferocious challenge from John Terry, but it was a fair one. Slowing it down in the centre of the field. Mineiro forced to backtrack. Alan Smith getting in amongst them, and it breaks for Steven Gerrard. Now, can Gerrard drive on from this position? He's just played it a little behind David Beckham, but Carragher is arriving in support. Beckham's ball, and it's a piercing one. It's just ahead of the run of Michael Owen.
Oh, that's what David Beckham brings to this game, and that's what David Beckham brings to England. The ability to split open defences. Look at this one, right down the middle.
Now a ball over the top, which requires Paul Robinson's intervention. Will Beckham finally get a championship medal with Real Madrid before he leaves for the Los Angeles Galaxy? He has 2 more games to play with the Merengues. And Real Madrid are in pole position at the moment.
Yeah, they know all they have to do is win their games, and they have the tiebreaker with Barcelona, because it came down to head-to-head appearances, and Real Madrid did well against Barcelona this time around.
Carragher's throw, shielded by Smith. Beckham is available. Now can Beckham deliver the cross? He can. Well, there was the rather diminutive J.Cole and Michael Owen as the only targets in the box. It drifted over both of those heads. Well, after a fairly nervous first couple of minutes, England have settled here, Tommy.
Yeah, and looked pretty good as well. I mean, they haven't made any mistakes. Ledley King covers so much ground at the back.
Beckham becoming more and more of a factor. Lampard, though, well, he heard the impending footsteps of Robinho just behind him. He took his eye off the ball. Now Robinho at the business end here. He's done well. Now Robinho twisting and turning against Jamie Carragher. The Real Madrid man couldn't find the target.
Well, Robinho basically playing as a striker. And Real Madrid, he plays wider. He plays wider out on the wings. I think he's much more effective player when you give him the opportunity to run at you. But I'm sure he's glad to be a striker on this team.
Now J.Cole with the willing partner in Nicky Shorey down the left, but England head in field instead. Gerrard.
But those step overs of J.Cole look so laboured, don't they, compared to a Brazilian doing a step over. Maybe Joe should just pass the ball and forget about doing those step overs.
Michael Owen coming a little deeper to get involved in the build-up. Owen taking on Gilberto. Gilberto matching him stride for stride, the Hertha Berlin man.
Oh, you love to see a player like Michael Owen come back. I mean, he's had such an injury and out for such a long time, and then there was a fight with his club and his country, and you just like to see players like that perform well.
Now, Daniel Alves, who might well be putting himself in the shop window tonight. Persisting rumours that he's on his way to the Premiership, with Liverpool as a likely destination. Ronaldinho.
Well, if he is, Steve Finnan better look for another job, because Alves is a brilliant young fullback.
Alan Smith just having his pocket picked there by Gilberto Silva. England haven't beaten Brazil in any form of competition since 1990, when a Gary Lineker goal at the old Wembley Stadium won a friendly meeting by a 1-0. That was in the build-up to World Cup 1990. Strange to think that back then England went on to reach the semi-final. Brazil went out in the second round. 3 draws and 3 losses for the English in 6 meetings since then. But this is promising. J.Cole. Oh, he's ghosted his way inside a couple of challenges, but had no real support. And it's Kaka who's the release valve for Brazil.
And that was a mistake by Brazil. I mean, that ball was nodded down. It should never have been nodded down in that set of circumstances. And it was hit right onto the boot of J.Cole.
Gerrard lunging in and luring the foul from Kaka. Two players, of course, who opposed each other just less than 2 weeks ago in the Champions League final. Wagner Love has got just a touch of blue in there upon closer inspection.
Yeah, I knew you wouldn't disappoint me.
Kaka drifted across to the left-hand side now. Daniel Alves, haven't seen much of him as an attacking presence yet down the right, but surely only a matter of time. The moment might arrive now, but he's elected to play it in field. And it was cut out by Frank Lampard.
Well, that's always the question when Brazil play, isn't it? Who's going to do the defending? Because everybody wants to be an attacker.
Well, the old guard have been either swept out or left of their own accord, as sharp turn by Beckham wins England a free kick. You think of tired.
Well, Beckham gets nailed pretty good there by Naldo. Yeah, Cafu on one side, Roberto Carlos on the other side. To me, those were 2 mistakes that Pareja made in the last World Cup.
Now then, what can Beckham deliver from this position? He has the towering John Terry and Ledley King, hoping to feast on something tasty. Beckham delivers. It was a near-post flick on from Alan Smith, and then a rather tame follow-up shot from J.Cole. J.Cole just getting his second start under Steve McLaren, the last one in the friendly against Holland back in November. Ronaldinho almost effortlessly across to Robinho. But Nicky Shorey did well there.
Yeah, Robinho's always looking for that call. Here we go with the step overs again from Cole.
And J.Cole is often referred to as perhaps the most Brazilian of all English players in terms of his technique.
Or somebody's imagination.
Gilberto Silva. Now Kaka. Drifting even deeper this time, as he does to such great effect with AC Milan. Playing a little bit of a different role for the national team, though, Kaka, isn't he? With 2 strikers and 2 speedy strikers in front of him.
Well, he's expected to become the playmaker. I mean, he carries more of a load when he plays with AC Milan.
Ronaldinho, a slip from Ledley King. Ronaldinho trying to exploit it. He's driving on into the area. King recovers, but at the expense of a corner.
I'm wondering, will we see Ronaldinho out there for 90 minutes? I have my doubts. Barcelona still have a couple of games left. This time King just nips in front of him and takes it away from him.
Ronaldinho to serve in the corner, but Beckham was well stationed. Brazil aiming to maintain the pressure. It's a good service and an offside flag. The goal is not going to stand. Gilberto Silva, the Arsenal man who scored the first goal at the Emirates Stadium for his club.
Oh yeah, he's clearly... Oh, I don't know. I would like to think that he wasn't offside there. There were a couple of players offside, but he wasn't one of them.
It was certainly a marginal decision to deny Gilberto Silva. So perhaps a let-off for England. Can they make the most of it? Beckham. J.Cole, a chance to settle on the ball here. Another couple of step-overs against Daniel Alves. Shorey, it's a good-looking cross from Nicky Shorey. But both Smith and Owen had attacked the same spot.
Yeah, he put a little bit too much steam on it. Good ball from Beckham initially to set J.Cole in. Here we go, here's the offside. You be the judge. He's not offside. That man was not offside. That's a perfectly good goal in my opinion.
Gilberto Silva denied what would have been just his fourth goal for his country. He came to prominence as part of that 2002 side that beat England en route to World Cup success in Japan and South Korea. Ronaldinho looking to restart quickly. Daniel Alves. Now heading in field with real intent, and it breaks for Robinho. Well, luckily for England, Ledley King was alive to the danger.
Yeah, that's the one great thing that Ledley King brings to that back line, is he has so much capacity to cover ground, and he covers it very, very quickly.
Spell of dominance here for the Brazilians as Robinho floats it deep. Headed back into the danger area. Ledley King half away. Still England haven't completed the clearance, and now they're bailed out as the decision goes. It'll be an English goal kick.
Yeah, Manera's been impressive so far. Very, very strong. Doesn't take a backward step. Peter Crouch. Wonder what he's thinking about. I'll get into the second half, coach, right?
Well, certainly some eyebrows were raised at Alan Smith's inclusion in the starting lineup, primarily at Crouch's expense. As the rest of the England bench, you can see Kieran Dyer amongst the substitutes. Steve McLaren's record in charge of England: 4 wins, 3 draws and 2 defeats. The losses have come at the hands of Croatia and Spain. Over the same period of time, Dunga has won 7 of his 9 games in charge of the Brazilian national team, lost just once, and that was against Portugal in the friendly played just down the road from here at the Emirates Stadium.
Portugal and Brazil never play friendlies.
J.Cole, run off it by Gerrard, he got there.
Beckham's wide open on the far side.
J.Cole again going to work, but no elevation on the cross. Robinho is able to get it half away, but England swallow up possession again midway through the first half. Hope you're enjoying our coverage here from the brand new Wembley Stadium. And, England opening up with a fixture that always whets the appetite against Brazil. David Beckham. He's had a good start to his return to the national fold. Michael Owen hasn't been as involved, but he's won a free kick. Owen and Beckham, by the way, the only players in this English starting lineup who played in the last game at the old Wembley Stadium, that defeat to Germany back in October of 2000. Beckham flighting it, but too much on it.
Oh, not a good free kick at all from David Beckham. You got everybody in the box. You got to give them a shot to win it.
Well, these are the available subs for England. Wes Brown, Wayne Bridge, Phil Neville, David Bentley. He's perhaps a contender for that right midfield spot if Beckham doesn't go 90 minutes.
I wouldn't expect to see Beckham go 90 minutes. I don't expect.
Well, Beckham's picked up a loose ball here. It's David Beckham for England. Oh, he's picked out J.Cole. Opportunity was knocking there. Cole's header was a fairly lacklustre one. But England still have it with Shorey. Shorey once more. He's not looking overawed by the occasion at all, is he, Nicky Shorey?
No, he's looked very accomplished. In fact, the amount of possession he's had, he's looked better than Cole.
Now Smith trying to shield off the pressure. Shorey, well,
just when I said it.
Just when you build them up,
yeah,
Tommy.
Yeah, commentator's curse.
Herbert Smith was the last Reading player to represent England back in 1906. Let's go back to the Brazilian bench. And, well, where do you start, really? Maicon, Alex, Edmilson, Diego, and numbers 21 and 22. Keep your eye on them if they come on later on in the game. Afonso and Joe, part of the new breed of the Brazilian attackers that Dunga has started to turn to in the absence of the likes of Ronaldo and Adriano. Robinho, Kaka. Kaka's little stutter step and then crashing to the turf wasn't fooling referee Marcus Merck.
Yeah, they've done a good job. Gerrard coming in, bundling him down. I think he fouled him. I think Gerrard fouled him, but the referee let him away with it. But they're certainly not giving him any room, and that's the key. As far as I'm concerned, when you're playing that man, you've got to deny him room at all times.
Neither goalkeeper has seriously been tested through these opening exchanges at Wembley. Paul Robinson at one end and Helton at the other, but is that about to change? Because Kaka is shifting up a gear or two. Steven Gerrard was matching him stride for stride. Brazil forced to head backwards in trying to make progress all the way back to Helton. Helton hoping for a better night than the one he enjoyed last time in London, which was with Porto at Stamford Bridge against Chelsea, where he gifted Chelsea an equaliser.
Well, you see a lot of subs warming up. I mean, it won't be like an Ericsson deal where, he changed 11 players one time at half-time when he was manager of England, but I think you'll see wholesale changes here. Keep in mind that they have that game coming up on Wednesday night, England. And keep in mind that some of the players are still involved in Spain, like Beckham and Ronaldinho and Robinho.
It's the Spanish season not ending till mid-June, much later than any other major European league. Kaka! That's a wonderful piece of play from Kaka, but equally fantastic tackling back there. Just as Kaka was either going to unload or dish off a telling pass, John Terry robbed him of the ball. And now Lampard steps in to try and mount something for England. He's chopped down. Kaka perhaps a little in frustration.
Oh yeah, they're not giving him any breathing room at all. It looked like he was gone, that he was off on one of them slalom runs of his, but good determination by the English. Steve Gerrard has done a great job of sticking to Kaka.
Steven Gerrard, who made his English debut 7 years ago against Ukraine, just before the closing of the old Wembley Stadium. Robinson seeking out Alan Smith. He falls invitingly at the edge of the area. Is that going to be a free kick? It is, as Gerrard took it in his stride and was chopped down right at the edge of the box.
Mineiro catches him right here. And this should be a David Beckham special. Right on the edge of the box, he sticks the boot out, and that's just a mistake.
Well, what a moment this would be for David Beckham to put a stamp on his return to the English side. Helton will have to construct his wall with undue diligence here.
Well, there's always that goal that stands out in my mind, the one he scored against Greece, but it was a little bit more to the left-hand side. This is more towards the middle, but it's definitely Beckham country.
It's David Beckham for England. Oh, it was so close. It was so close for Beckham. Helton was a worried goalkeeper, scurrying away to his right.
Look at this, over the wall. Oh, for a moment it looked like David Beckham was in heaven. Look at that, and then it just outside of the post. Really well struck. He wanted that one. He wanted that one badly, real badly.
And that would have been a carbon copy of that goal you referenced, Tommy. The one that took England to the World Cup finals in 2002 against Greece. That was at Old Trafford, though. Beckham never actually scored at the old Wembley Stadium. Looking to score at the new is Wagner Love, but the English tackling has been intense.
Oh, Gerrard has been tackling like a man possessed. He's lucky that he has gotten ball on all occasions, because otherwise, if he misses ball, he may see red very quickly. Those lunges are unbelievable from Gerrard.
Well, there was a lot of focus before the game on the English defence and the untried nature of many elements of it, partnering Terry and King together. Of course, Nicky Shorey in his debut. But not much has got past that back line so far, Tommy.
Not at all, because they've got good help from midfield. Gerrard's coming back, and he's protecting that back four.
Gilberto, Ronaldinho. Ronaldinho of Barcelona, harassed by David Beckham of Real Madrid. It's all very tight corners, but Brazil so adept at getting out of tight quarters. Daniel Alves now. Kaka. Driven Robinho a little wide with the outlet pass. Jamie Carragher has come across. Kaka helping it on. Gilberto Silva's shot almost turned into an effective cross. Mineiro retrieves. This is Daniel Alves. Kaka. Combination with Ronaldinho is delightful. Had England lunging and stretching in desperation. And eventually they're able to quell the Brazilian threat. Well, they never cease to improvise and delight with their touches, Tommy.
Beautiful touches, but England just stood their ground and said, OK, you can have all the touches you want to, but we're going to take the ball away. Carragher first, and then Michael Owen gets fouled.
Ronaldinho and Kaka to the fore. Now, Shorey a little out of position, had to come up with the ball and did. Beckham looking to his outside, nobody there. England revert to the left-hand side with Shorey and Lampard. Now Owen in a little pocket of space. Michael Owen. It's a slightly under-hit pass for David Beckham, forcing him just to retreat a step or two. Shorey again, seeing plenty of the ball. Thought about heading inside, slipped it outside to J.Cole. Touch from Owen. Can't get round the back of Naldo, though. And now Brazil on the counter-attack, can be so deadly. Ronaldinho has the beating of Gerrard. Gerrard, though, recovers. Ronaldinho gets it back and slips it through the centre. Was there a shirt tug there from Ledley King? Certainly the way Wagner Love went down indicated there was some sort of contact.
Yeah, and Gerrard looked like he had taken the ball away, but didn't get it quite right as he goes back with Ronaldinho. Here's a little bit of a push on. Yeah, that's a foul. Outside of the box.
Just outside the box. Ledley King tripping Wagner Love. And we saw David Beckham come so close from this sort of range at one end. Now then.
Ronaldinho country at this end, you know.
Paul Robinson's turn to be a worried goalkeeper. Ronaldinho looking at a five-man English wall. A couple of Brazilian players in there too. Ronaldinho! Well, Paul Robinson must have been confident this was drifting wide because he didn't move.
Well, I think it was as close as Beckham's on the opposite side. He goes the opposite way, just fails to turn it in. I think maybe what caught Paul out was the fact that the ball was so well hit. He had no chance of getting to it, Adrian.
There's been some much publicised disputes between Ronaldinho and Dunga. Dunga left him on the bench in that friendly against Portugal. Played back in February. Actually had gone 21 months without a goal for Brazil until scoring 2 against Chile back in March.
Do I remember correctly, did he get a red card the last time they played England?
That's right, in that quarter-final, having scored the free kick that put Brazil in front. He was then sent off, but Brazil held on with 10 men very comfortably as England sweated in the sultry conditions in Japan. Minutes remain in the first half here at the brand new 90,000 capacity Wembley Stadium. It's a driving run and a fizzing shot at the end of it from Kaka, but not his normal accuracy. The man who scored more Champions League goals than any other this past season.
Mr. Dunga, deep in thought, having a conversation. Somebody upstairs, I'd say.
Well, he had no previous managerial experience of any sort when he took over the reins from Carlos Alberto Pereira last summer. Had strangely been involved in a part ownership role with Queen's Park Rangers here in London.
It's amazing with all the firepower that's out there that neither keeper has really had to come up with any kind of a save here in the first 37 minutes.
Certainly the nearest we've seen to a breakthrough. The set pieces from Messrs Beckham and Ronaldinho.
That's how you play yourself into trouble, son. Not a good idea.
Sure, he used a get-out-of-jail-free card there. But England rather careless in possession. And you do that at your peril against the Golden Boys, Brazil.
I think Dunga has put a restraint on Alves going forward. We've seen so little of him, and he's so capable of going forward and creating havoc.
Now it's Robinho trying to act as the catalyst through the centre. His pass went astray and falls eventually for J.Cole. Now Lampard, he's looking long. The run from David Beckham was what he was trying to pick out. But, an easy grab for Helton. Brazilian keeper making just his fourth appearance for the national side. Plenty of starters in this Brazilian side who haven't exactly won a cupboard full of caps so far for their team. The likes of Naldo and Daniel Alves, Mineiro, even Wagner Love up front.
I know it's only a friendly, but England have given a very good account of themselves here.
Kaka stood on the ball and allowed David Beckham to come back and win it back for England.
That's one part of Beckham's game that has changed over the years, isn't it? I mean, you would normally not see him come back playing as a defender when he played with Manchester United, but now he's more inclined to come back.
Oh, Paul Robinson was almost playing with fire there, rather delaying his clearance, and Wagner Love got a deflection on it. Michael Owen really struggling to impose himself on the proceedings.
Alan Smith, the same thing. Smith's coming out now into midfield trying to get some kind of possession, but
well, it's been a long road back for both of them from injury. Smith returning to action in the middle of the season with Manchester United, but Owen, this is just his 5th game of any sort since being injured last summer at the World Cup, and we could have an injury on our hands here because Gerrard has brought down Robinho, but suddenly Robinho springs back to life as Ronaldinho pushes on. Kaka takes over. Beckham trying to throw him out of his stride. Ronaldinho again against Beckham. Ronaldinho floating it. But no one crashing in on the far post for Brazil.
But you know, Capello gave Beckham that role of coming back to help out as a defender when he started playing Cicinho as the right full back for Real Madrid, and Cicinho would go upfield and Beckham would come back. Look at him, he plays that defensive position pretty well, doesn't he? I mean, that's Ronaldinho he's going up against.
Well, both Beckham and Robinho started the season out of favour with Fabio Capello. Both have more than played their part since the turn of the year in Real Madrid's remarkable resurgence. Now this is Gilberto, the left back, who scored a goal at last summer's World Cup against Japan. Ronaldinho going for goal himself, but a rising drive that never threatened Paul Robinson's goal. Always a magnificently supported team wherever they play around the world, and they've played a lot here in London recently, Tommy. This is Brazil's 4th game in North London in the past 9 months. They haven't played a single game in Brazil.
It's becoming their second home, isn't it?
Played 3 games at the Emirates Stadium since the end of the World Cup.
So what have we? 1 player who plays in Portugal. We have 4 players who plays in Germany. We've got 1, 2 who play, 3 who play in Spain, 1 who plays in Italy, 1 who plays in Russia. That's quite a collection, isn't it, for Brazil?
But still, only 1 player who plays in the Premiership. That's been the one league where Brazilians have found it a little harder to settle over the years.
Yeah, and isn't it strange, because on the opposite side there's only 1 player who doesn't play in the Premiership, David Beckham.
Progress from Gilberto. Daniel Alves, nice ball for Kaka. It was a tough one to control and take in his stride for the Milan midfield schemer. Exuberant flick from J.Cole. Perhaps not the place to be trying those.
Now, that's how you get your teammates killed in the middle of the field with those little flicks like that.
Now Kaka with Terry for company. Oh, John Terry forced to drag him down, was he? Well, nothing doing. Kaka perhaps guilty of a little embellishment. Looked to have beaten John Terry with the invention at the edge of the box. Terry, of course, the man who took over the captaincy from David Beckham. We look at what's on the menu for you in terms of the Euro qualification picture this weekend at ESPN. You can see Germany take on San Marino. They only scored 13 past them last time. Will it be more of the same, Tommy?
I don't think so. I think San Marino will step it up a bit, keep it within 10.
Kaka to Wagner Love, immediately swarmed upon Wagner Love with Gerrard and Ledley King. Simply haven't been the gaps between the English midfield and defence that Brazil have been hoping to exploit.
This to me is a new role for Gerrard.
Ronaldinho Too strong with a little 1-2, picked off by Frank Lampard.
I mean, Gerrard's out there as a midfield destroyer to help out coming back. We've seen very little of him go forward.
It's been an almost permanent question, hasn't it, for England fans over the last, shall we say, 4 years. Can Steven Gerrard and Frank Lampard operate effectively together in the centre of the park? Well, certainly doing so tonight. Defensively, the other end of the park, not too much has worked, but they're by no means alone in that department. This is Cole. To Shorey. Can J.Cole become the X factor for England? One of those individuals capable of turning any games. He's one of the few English players to emerge with credit from last summer's World Cup. This is Michael Owen. Owen driving on, but it was easy meat for Naldo.
Well, you know that Michael Owen is a man who, if he's on his best form and playing like we know Michael Owen can play, he can definitely change a game for you.
He has a habit of coming up big against South American opposition too. As the free kick goes against England, J.Cole can't quite believe it. Owen has scored 9 goals in 10 games for England against South American opposition. That includes 2 in previous games against Brazil. And that'll do it for the first half. England with a new place to call home, and well, perhaps so far so good for Steve McClaren. David Beckham certainly enjoying his return to the fold and coming perhaps closest to opening the scoring in this first half. Brazil had a goal disallowed perhaps unfairly for offside, but after 45 minutes at England's new home, it is 0-0 between England and Brazil.
Cantan los ingleses. Acción otra vez.
The Wembley roar going up. The English fans heeding the call of John Terry to turn Wembley into a fortress.
Largo pelotazo. Naldo.
As we get underway here at the start of the second half.
Gilberto.
Going from left to right on your screens.
Aguanta la presencia de Smith. La vuelve a jugar otra vez para Juan.
We expect to see numerous changes as the second half begins to unfold. That's certainly the normal way of operating in international friendlies.
Gilberto Silva la juega para Dani Alves. Comienzan a calentar algunos jugadores de Brasil.
And already you can see at the top of the screen a bevy of substitutes starting to warm up.
Tiene la pelota Brasil en el fondo.
Brazilian
frente a la presencia de Alan Smith.
Players as Alan Smith is
Marcus Berg. Sobre Juan se la tiro libre en el fondo para el equipo de Dunga.
Vamos a ver si en este segundo tiempo Dani Alves empieza a soltarse mucho más por el lateral derecho. Empieza a acelerar por aquel sector.
Terry Venables alongside Steve
Se
McClaren.
acomodaba Steve McClaren. Saltaba Smith.
Much has been made of that relationship too.
Ahí la tiene Juan. Gana Juan.
Coach of course, back in
Pasaba de
1996.
largo Carragher.
Con un toque nada más, ¿eh?
Sí, pasaba de largo y se frenó Ronaldinho. Ahí está la falta. Dini otra vez para sacarla. Beckham sonríe.
Ronaldinho.
Otra vez la pelota la tiene Ronaldinho. Gilberto Silva. Mineiro. Buena salida ahora para que la vaya a buscar Dani Alves. Ahí va Alves. Se suelta el hombre de Sevilla. Sigue Alves. Era buena la intención por abajo, pero nada.
Era muy buena la intención. Sorprendiendo con una pelota al corazón del área por debajo.
Ahí está regresando la gente para ocupar sus lugares. Algunos fueron a buscar alguna bebida, viste que tarda siempre con todo lo que hay ahí, ¿no?
Y ahí
fíjate,
están,
el palco.
Exacto, regresando todos los que vienen del AGP que está ubicado detrás.
Fueron a tomar algo. Pero se tarda un poco porque tiene que regresar en la grande.
I'm wondering what was so good out there at halftime that kept so many of them delayed.
No es tan fácil. Alves que la saca por arriba, falta sobre... El árbitro dice que no. Wagner Love era el que cometía la falta.
Free kick against Wagner Love.
Paradito Terry. Que lo mira a Wagner Love como diciendo, se anima a hacerme falta a mí, ¿no?
Pero no.
Duro Terry.
Exacto. Y además, con 22 años está aprovechando esta oportunidad, el jugador del SK de Moscú.
Pedía falta, Beckham no le dio, la tiene Ronaldinho, ahí va Brasil. Ronaldinho que juega otra vez para Mineiro, Mineiro que la saca por la derecha para Dani Alves. Se frena Alves.
Onto Daniel Alves. Minero
Sigue Alves. El toque. La busca Wagner Love. Metía fuerte abajo Frankie Lampard.
Steadfast English tackling. Giving the ball away though.
Se viene ahora Ronaldinho. Toque para Love. Justo Terry. Michael Owen. No puede salir. Le queda otra vez a Ronaldinho. La juega otra vez para Mineiro. Ahí está Mineiro. El rebote fue finalmente J.Cole, no era Michael Owen. Laterales para Brasil.
Es más ordenado Brasil, ¿no? Juega mejor con la pelota.
Es más arriesgado.
Más arriesgado también.
Más cosas.
El orden de Inglaterra hace que el partido se sostenga en la mitad de la cancha. Pero Brasil es como que sorprende de tanto en tanto.
Ahí está jugando la pelota
Gerrard has had a wonderful game.
La venía a buscar Alan Smith.
Maybe not going forward as an attacking force,
para
but I'll tell you
Lampard.
one thing.
El cambio de Lampard es
He
para
has
Beckham.
kept order in that midfield.
Tiene que ir a buscar
Owen to chase, but
había posición adelantada.
Offside flag against Michael Owen.
Marca el juez de línea. Desde el fondo sacará Brasil.
His last goal for England was exactly a year ago in that win against Jamaica, but was he offside?
Digamos que los jueces de línea no es como ocurre en los partidos que van todos alemanes, ¿no? Hay uno que es Fernando Tamayo de Ecuador.
Exacto.
Otro es de los Emiratos Árabes.
Salem Mohamed Al-Marzouk.
Off to play for Los Angeles Galaxy.
Ahí va Gilberto, la juega para Kaka.
Really
Kaka por izquierda para Robinho. Ahí está Robinho por acá, por allá, por acá, por allá. Robinho que la juega otra vez atrás para Kaka, que la sacó
Inside to Kaka, Ronaldinho, and Paul Robinson was able to adjust and recover on the fly.
El primero del partido.
Qué buena jugada.
Stinging shot for Ronaldinho.
Viene la
to take a
brasileña
deflection.
con
what a save
Ronaldinho
by
que aparece por sorpresa después del toque de Kaka y antes del
Ronaldinho, and it comes off Ledley King's boot, I imagine.
Tira
Let's see.
Ronaldinho,
Yeah,
la
it does.
pelota pega en King.
Unbelievable reaction by Paul Robinson to go. That was incredible. The way he stretched himself for that. First real good opportunity that Brazil have come up with.
Ahí está Diño otra vez. A buscar por arriba viene Brasil. Está Gilberto Silva al centro. Cuidado con el central que vuelve a cabecear la pelota que se va por el costado. Brasil llegó dos veces. Golpeó dos veces cerca.
This run is perfectly
con dos variantes, ¿no?
executed here over Alan Smith.
Buena jugada de los jugadores más hábiles.
Big man coming up from the back.
Kaka, Ronaldinho con el remate final y esta con un cabezazo, una pelota detenida.
Free agent. He's played for 5 years with Bayer Leverkusen in Germany.
Parece.
Wants to move away from the club.
Largo pelotazo de Robinson. Gilberto.
I mean, there's been a lot of talk about Beckham going to the United States and whether he can play.
La jugó para Robinho. Robinho para Kaka. Ahí va Kaka. Tiraba un caño. Falta de Frankie Lampard. Dice el árbitro que estaba muy cerca.
I don't agree with
Tiro
all
libre
that.
para Brasil.
Modern day footballers do a lot of traveling.
Con Lampard y Gerrard.
I think if he's good enough, he can play. It may take a bit out of him, all right.
La jugó para Wagner Love.
Maybe a problem for the Galaxy.
Entre dos, siguió, la saca Ledley.
Beckham is Beckham.
Owen.
Possibly 4 or 5 Galaxy games for which England call-ups. He wasn't available for his new employers.
El hombre del Reading se frena. Lo tiene J.Cole.
Will those England call-ups materialize?
The biggest and most important one will be maybe England will have qualified in the game against Croatia.
Lo persigue Dani Alves.
J.Cole.
La pierna del hombre del Brasil.
Equally ferocious tackling back this time from Daniel Alves, but England have a corner. It'll be Beckham who comes across to swing this one in.
I would have to say that on the evidence of what I've seen in the first 45 minutes, I think the call-ups will be there.
Está Gerrard en el área. Para el rebote quedó Frankie Lampard.
Pick out a choice time.
Le va a pegar Beckham. Ahí va al centro de Beckham.
King, he slid into the soft centre.
De Juan.
Except there wasn't one because
Contra de Brasil no llega.
got a very good header away in for Brazil.
Ahí está
Retrieved by
Lampard.
J.Cole.
No, la cambia otra vez larga para Beckham. Va Beckham por
Hesitating for a
izquierda.
moment, now sprints onto it.
El centro de Beckham.
Oh, and the cross that Helton is backpedaling to pluck out of the air.
We saw Beckham set up one for Real Madrid last week. With his weaker foot like that, that one almost worked as well.
Fíjate esta de Kaka para Robinho.
Master of the step over.
Lo tiene Ronaldinho, sigue Robinho. La juega para Ronaldinho. Ahí
enjoys
está
it even more
Robinho.
than his opposite number,
Retrocede, le quedó
J.Cole.
a Mineiro. Mineiro otra vez para Ronaldinho. Muchos de Inglaterra defendiendo.
I don't mean to insult you, but he looks much more elegant
Ahí
doing
va
it than
Kaka, este le
J.Cole
pega.
does.
Ahí va Kaka.
This is Kaka!
Claro que le pega. La pelota que
He
se
knows
fue
that was
adentro.
close. It
No fue
just
muy
curled
lejos,
away
insiste
right at the
Brasil.
end of its trajectory here.
Tiene buena recuperación Inglaterra en cuanto a lo físico. Bajan rápido los volantes y los defensores. Por eso hay 2 líneas de 4. Pero Brasil maneja mejor la pelota. Le cuesta, obviamente, por esta marca de Inglaterra encontrar espacios. De todas maneras, con Ronaldinho o con Kaka, en este arranque del segundo tiempo, Brasil está un poquito más ofensivo.
Ahí está. Algunos se la perdieron porque estaban todavía tratando de conseguir una bebida en la atrás, viste, en esos puestos que hay una cantidad de puestos de bebida.
A espaldas de la tribuna, están esperando.
Le queda para David Beckham. Ahí está Beckham, cortita, demasiado larga después.
Oh, Gerrard was caught by Kaka.
La pierna de Kaka.
Could be very painful for the Liverpool captain.
Gerrard. Acá le dice, no te la di con el Milan, te la golpeé ahora. Bueno,
he's really put himself in danger's way today. He sticks out the good Kaka.
Atención que viene J.Cole, arranca Cole, sigue Cole, perseguía Alves, la pelota quedó para Lampard, la saca por el costado para Shorey. El centro de Shorey, le quedaba Owen.
Owen was there to meet him, but couldn't control.
Abajo otra vez Alves, la jugó para Mineiro. Ahí va Mineiro. Buscaba Ronaldinho, también buscaba Ronaldinho, sigue Ronaldinho, 3 con él, sigue Digno, la pierna finalmente de Gerrard, el saque de costado es para Brasil.
Insisto, aunque no sea un trabajo lucido, es bueno lo de Lampard, se tira a los costados, va atrás a pelear, delantero que sostiene, lo están marcando King y Terry.
El saque de costado de Alves. Largo pelotazo. Ahí está cayendo cerca del banco de Dunga. La espalda de David Beckham. Sus tatuajes. O lo que sea, todo está bien.
16 of his 17 English international goals under Sven-Göran Eriksson.
Ahí está sacando la pelota línea. La juega para Alves. Otra vez Ronaldinho. Escapó a J.Cole. Ronaldinho, Gilberto Silva. Se abre Kaka. Prefiere jugarla con Robinho. Gracias, le dijo Beckham, compañero del equipo de Real Madrid. Beckham la saca para Gerrard. Gerrard la hace rebotar el niño. Ahí está Gerrard otra vez. Fuera Johnny. Por el medio Beckham. Va la pelota para David Beckham. Se frena Beckham. Mira. Va a meter el cambio. Ahí está, el cambio de frente. La pelota llega donde la tira. Ledley King. Uy, otra vez para atrás. A Paul Robinson. Volver a empezar.
Volver a empezar y además no hay espacios para crecer en el terreno.
6 of his 9 games under
Michael Owen con Smith.
They were against the likes of Andorra and Macedonia and Greece.
Correr, señores.
Certainly not Brazil. This is Kaka.
Intenta, hubo falta de Gilberto que le puso el brazo y estiro libre.
This is going to be
por arriba.
an English free kick.
David Beckham seguro.
Podemos decir que
well, it's not too often we've seen Kaka push forward in this game. He goes for the ball here and well, he makes the most of it. Make sure the referee saw what happened.
Pero de mucho valor. Le va a pegar en comba David Beckham. A buscar bien en todos. Al rebote Lampard. Gerrard, King, Terry, Michael Owen. Atención con Michael Owen. Se quedan en el borde como diciendo no vamos a retroceder. Está Owen, pero retroceden. Ahí va Beckham.
This is a juicy one and the header is just onto the top of the net from Michael Owen.
Viene el primero de Inglaterra.
As close as England have come.
Beautiful ball delivered by Beckham. Michael Owen rises to it, gets there first, and he just nicked it over the top. That was beautifully set up, nicely executed, and Michael Owen just missed the target by a couple of inches.
How many times has that combination worked?
Inglaterra también con una pelota detenida. Es un poco eso, ¿no? Trabajo elaborado. Pelotas
a lot of English fans would like to see him work for another while again. There's no reason why he can't.
Muy cerca pasó.
Muy cerca. Brasil es otra cosa, ¿no? Un poco la sutileza de Kaka y Ronaldinho cuando tienen espacio.
Ahí va otra vez en el shield off sobre Alan Smith. Sí,
intentions of Mineiro, but Mineiro recovered his poise.
Vale. Ronaldinho juega para Kaka. Ahí tiene Kaka.
Layoff for
Sigue Kaka. Juega para Robinho, abierto Gilberto, va para Gilberto.
Gilberto
Kaka. Viene
inside to Kaka, who sets his sights.
Quiso colocar por arriba de Robinson, lejos, se fue lejos.
place it rather than power it into the top corner.
Yeah, he hasn't been in the best form today. I was looking at Ronaldinho pass the ball to him, and I was wondering would he be doing that all next season with AC Milan. A lot of talk that maybe he's going to go there, Ronaldinho.
The first two changes of the game will be English changes. That's Kieran Dyer and Stuart Downing in your picture, who are getting set to come in. Stuart Downing.
Dyer, los dos van a trabajar como volantes por las bandas y es probable que se vaya Beckham.
Vamos a ver, probable.
Maybe Lampard has gone as well.
Largo pelotazo, todavía no vienen los cambios, la saca Ronaldo. La tiene que ir a buscar Ronaldinho, Frankie Lampard. Cherey. El pelotazo, le quedó para J.Cole, ahí viene Cole, ahí viene Cole.
Realizing his number is up, but he couldn't change the course of the game. But it's Brazil who are trying to do just that now with Kaka.
Buscando el primero, la juega para Robinho. Robinho que quiere ir, todavía no puede.
Didn't take the ball with him. Kaka was able to recover. Beckham back to help out. Two Real Madrid teammates battling each other at the moment. Robinho and Beckham.
Pisa la pelota, le amaga, la juega otra vez para Kaka. Va el hombre del Milan ahora. Levanta la pelota Kaka.
Danger there. Lampard's touch was towards his own goal.
Sin problemas. Le queda
much less duress.
Sale Inglaterra ahora.
Leave the pressure.
J.Cole. Puede ser uno de los que salga Cole.
Está cansado.
Ahí va buscando la pelota otra vez. Juan, que la juega para Gilberto Silva. La pedía Mineiro, va para Mineiro. Dani Alves. Sube el hombre del Sevilla. Ahí está Alves, la viene a buscar Kaka. Por izquierda y por derecha. Ahí está Kaka, juega con Ronaldinho. La tiene Diño. Sigue Ronaldinho, mira. Robinho la va a buscar. Hay falta sobre Robinho. Sí, señores, tiro libre para Brasil.
Drew the foul.
Es otra buena oportunidad con pelota detenida, pero ahora para Brasil se viene el cambio.
This will be the opportunity for England to make the change.
Downing.
Ahí está haciendo señas el árbitro.
Aunque me parece que van a ejecutar el tiro libre.
Le dice, espera que tire.
A moment of real concern for the
otra chance para
English defense here.
Qué buen espacio que hay, ¿no? Si supera la barrera.
Una buena chance para Ronaldinho, ¿eh?
Ahí está acomodando la pelota
Diño.
Es
una muy buena chance para él. Para escribir el nombre Wembley. Le va a pegar Ronaldinho. Se adelanta la barrera de Ronaldinho. La espalda de Beckham para sacar la pelota al córner. Se adelantó la barrera. Me van a mover la pelota.
Y tiene razón, ¿eh?
Claro que
le achicaron la distancia. Era un muy buen remate de Ronaldinho. El arquero Robinson muy recostado sobre el palo izquierdo.
Se adelantan algo que ya ha cabeceado en el área. También está Gilberto Silva. También sube Juan.
One of the seven deadly sins of football, isn't it?
Todos miran a ver si vienen los cambios. ¿Sí o no?
We won't go into the other six right now.
Le va a pegar Ronaldinho.
You're guilty of them all, I'm sure.
Ahí va Brasil. Ahí está Gilberto Silva. Ronaldinho. Niño la sacó finalmente corta. Otra vez pelota para él. Vamos a Ronaldinho y la perdió.
It worked out to England's benefit. Michael Owen back to pick his pocket. Now Beckham.
Quedó muy solo. No hay contra.
Didn't have any runners in front of him, so he was forced to check back.
Para Owen. Recupera otra vez Lampard.
England have it back here.
La viene a buscar Owen, ahí está Michael Owen, ahí está Michael
Beckham
Owen.
arriving, but Owen
la pelota le quedó para
stumbled just at the critical moment.
El toque fue de Terry.
Qué linda contra, bien sacado, ¿eh? Se resbaló Owen en los últimos metros.
Substitute as well. You see Dyer
and
Downing
Gerrard la tira otra vez.
waiting their chance to come on. This is Nicky Shorey.
El toque otra vez a buscarla.
Lay off from Owen.
De Michael Owen, ahí va Owen.
This time, Owen does enough to win the free kick.
Y hay variantes. Si lo van a sacar a Beckham, le van a decir, déjalo patear el tiro libre.
Substitutes now.
Marco Ben mira todavía.
Me parece que fue a buscar la pelota. Mira que lo van a
sacar. Y sí, Beckham va a tirar.
No lo puede sacar en un tiro libre.
No. Owen has gone past the hour mark in his return to full international football. Be somewhat of a surprise if it's he who makes way for either of these substitutions.
Y brasileño Edmilson está preparado.
It's actually Alan Smith.
Se va Smith.
Sí, que no jugó bien.
Comes off first.
Pero no saca un delantero, fíjate.
And Cole.
J.Cole will be the second player removed. So a straight swap, Downing for Cole. Kieran Dyer for Alan Smith. Suggests perhaps a little different alignment for England, leaving just Michael Owen up front for now. But their immediate task is to try and make the most of this free kick, which Owen had won for England. Be Ed Nielsen replacing Mineiro for Brazil. That's very much a straight swap. Central midfield holding player, one for another. Ed Nielsen of Barcelona, of course. Now David Beckham trying to ignite this Wembley crowd with a moment to remember. It's Beckham for England, into the wall. Sweeps it across field for Ledley King. Now Kieran Dyer getting his first touch. Dyer's tenacity wins the ball back. Now a shooting chance perhaps, and long-range drive which just clears the bar. Stuart Downing, oh, what a first touch that would have been.
Oh, what a save here. The keeper gets a touch onto this from Downing. He hits it a ton. The keeper just touched it up over the top.
Never scored for England, Stuart Downing. That would have been some way to open his account. Beckham with the follow-up corner. Ronaldinho it was who headed it away. Beckham a chance to go to work again. He's forced to cut all the way inside and then delivers a fine ball. Owen! Well, I think he was trying to flick that on for Kieran Dyer rather than that goal, Tommy.
Yeah, good effort by Owen. Beckham going away from goal, managed to get it into him.
England in the ascendancy at the moment. Beckham goes hurdling one challenge, is caught, but there was no infringement. It was right in front of Marcus Merck. Steve McLaren's side upping the tempo. But can they turn temporary dominance into genuine chances?
Well, they've looked pretty good coming on the attack there a number of times now without really doing a whole lot.
Another switch for Brazil will be on the right-hand side of the fence as Daniel Alves makes way for the man from Inter Milan, Maicon. Simply take one piece out and substitute another of the same caliber and pedigree. Another attacking fullback. Steve McLaren, who spent 5 years in charge of Middlesbrough before being handed the reins of the English national side, the job so many people have described as the impossible job. It's hard to imagine there's a national team job that comes with more pressure and weight of expectation.
Maybe the Brazilian one. But then again, it's slightly different. I think maybe Brazil have a better selection of players to choose from than McLaren has.
20 minutes gone in the second half at this new Wembley Stadium. Still we await the breakthrough. Brazil trying to provide it here with Gilberto on a foraging run.
Ledley King and Carragher just covering off and getting it out of there. Avoid any problems.
Ed Nielsen. Maicon getting his first touch. The two substitutes combining for Brazil. But, backpedaling for now, thanks to the English pressure. Kaka, Maicon sprinting forward. Now can Maicon deliver the cross? Well, he can, but it's too deep and ends up on the roof of the net.
Yeah, that was something we didn't see a whole lot from Alves today, was those deep runs towards the corner flag. Okay, a couple of times he took off, but he took off across the middle. And here's the English attack, swinging the ball good and wide, keeping the full width of the pitch. Downing comes up with the shot. The keeper just touched it over. Downing really hit this one well. I'm not sure if it was going into the back of the net, but if you're a goalkeeper, you can't take a chance.
Confidence perhaps flowing for Stuart Downing, because he did score twice in that B international against Albania last week, the same game that Michael Owen played in. Owen wasn't on the score sheet. In fact, hasn't scored since making his return from injury. King and Terry, the centre-back pairing forward again for another Beckham set piece. It's Beckham. Oh, he's sent it in invitingly, and John Terry has risen and nodded England in front. Beckham is back, and it's terrific for John Terry.
You couldn't put it in his head any better than Beckham did. Look at that. John Terry rises to it, beats the defender, beats the keeper. Lucio's the man, or it looks like maybe it's Naldo he beats on that back post. But what a powerful header by John Terry. Beautiful strike. Beckham floats it in. John Terry puts it in the old onion bag. Doesn't get any better than that.
England's former captain putting it on a plate for England's current captain. Beckham to Terry. And midway through the second half, it's England 1, Brazil 0.
Now will all you doubters believe me that Beckham deserves to be on the English team?
Certainly case to be made. There's still no finer exponent of the dead ball situation in the world than David Beckham. And what a delicious prospect it must be for supporters of LA Galaxy and football in America.
Well, it's certainly an aspect of the game that's going to make life much easier for Landon Donovan and company.
Now England with the wind in their sails. It's Stuart Downing. A layoff for the other substitute, Kieran Dyer. Brazil thrown out of their stride at the moment. Nicky Shorey on for Downing. Retrieved by Lampard. Gerrard trying to cut that ball inside the fullback for Downing's run, but it was picked off. Now Kaka. How quickly he covers the ground, turning defence into attack. Wagner Love. Too many of those sort of passes have gone astray for Brazil tonight. Kieran Dyer will give chase, but he was always second favourite against Naldo. Well, second favourites win the ball sometimes, but Owen is disappointed to see the offside flag come up. John Terry's third goal in an English shirt, and this is how it happened.
Yeah, it was Naldo he beat. I thought it was.
Well, he only scored one goal in 45 games for Chelsea this year. He's normally been quite a prolific contributor of goals from centre-back for club. Not so much for country, but he'll remember that one for a long, long time. First English goal at the new Wembley Stadium.
Alfonso is on now, number 21.
Yes, Afonso is a player to keep your eye on. He has been absolutely prolific in European club football this season. 34 goals. Nobody scored more goals in Europe than Afonso. He plays for Heerenveen in Holland, and he's replaced Kaka. What do you make of that move, Tommy?
Well, I think Kaka was just a little bit off, and his shooting just wasn't all that good. And Steven Gerrard threw a bead on him several times, and he just took him out of it.
Now Afonso getting in the mix immediately. Ronaldinho.
Hey, the Wembley roar is back, is it?
Ronaldinho seeking out the run of Edmilson, his club teammate. That's the national anthem ringing around Wembley as Wes Brown looks to be the latest entry. And, well, listen to the reception that John Terry will get here.
Gerrard gets the captain's armband. Terry goes off and Wes Brown comes on.
Well, he'll forever be the answer to trivia questions in the future. Who scored the first goal for England at the new Wembley Stadium? It follows on from the answer to who scored the last English goal at the old Wembley Stadium, because that was a centre-back, Tony Adams. Remember him? Oh, there's a stumble here, and Afonso is in for Brazil, and he's missed. Well, Wes Brown, with his first touch of the ball, almost played Paul Robinson into hot water.
Oh, this was a terrible mistake. Ronaldinho going through, and I'm not sure what Wes Brown did here. He just got himself all caught up, and Afonso played it away. That should have been in the back of the net.
Almost a nightmare here for Wes Brown, who was stumbling, lost his footing, didn't make a convincing touch on the ball.
And a lot of players would have went down there looking for a penalty kick, but to give Afonso his credit, he rose well up over the keeper and never got touched.
Another change for Brazil sees the Werder Bremen midfielder Diego replace Robinho.
This is amazing, isn't it? Another German and a Dutch player coming on for Brazil. Herenveen and Werder Bremen.
But how about that linkage of past and present for England centre-backs? Tony Adams, the last goal for England at the old Wembley. John Terry, the first one at the new arena. He couldn't write it. Edmilson on to Mike On. It's a good-looking service. Wes Brown. A more determined touch this time from the Manchester United man.
That was a handball by Beckham.
Beckham looking to spring Kieran Dyer, who's been playing up front alongside Michael Owen. Now Diego, voted the Bundesliga player of the season for an inspirational campaign with Werder Bremen. Edmilson has picked out Mike On. Mike On will struggle to keep it in. And just failed in that bid.
The idea was great, but the execution wasn't so good.
That's Jermaine Genius in your picture, looking to come on.
That mean the end of the day for Beckham?
A quarter of an hour remaining. The new home of English football. And is this to be England's first victory over Brazil in 17 years? Only their fourth ever. Lampard has gone down. His opposite number, Gilberto Silva, is furious with Marcus Merck for giving the decision in favour of England. Same sort of spot, though, from which Beckham delivered for John Terry. Lightning can't strike twice, can it?
Sure it can. It's Wembley. Twin towers, twin lightning.
Well, Terry's not out there anymore, but plenty of other willing takers as Beckham steps up. Put it in the same sort of spot, didn't he?
There's just so much pressure on defenders with that ball curling in like that.
It is going to be David Beckham who's brought off, and listen to the reception that he will get as he is about to be replaced by Jermaine Genius.
See who the first man over to congratulate him was? He didn't go to congratulate the goal scorer, he went to Beckham. Lampard did.
Well, will he be back at Wembley? That's a question that won't be answered until later on in the year, in September and October, when England face all those home qualifiers against Croatia and Russia and Israel. And certainly on this form, Tommy, you have to say he has every chance of being involved in those games, but how will it play out down the road once he's left for America and the Los Angeles Galaxy? It's going to be fascinating to see how it unfolds.
Yeah, it certainly will be. It's certainly room for a lot of conjecture at this stage, isn't it? I think he can do this. I think he can do both. That's just my opinion of it. I think he can do both. And I'm sure that McLaren won't call him in for friendlies or anything. He'll just call him in for games that mean something.
Kieran Dyer trying to get the better of Gilberto Silva, but the Arsenal man having none of it.
I remember Donadoni playing for Italy when he was playing with the then Metro Stars. Played in Euro 96 for them.
Yeah, certainly there are precedents for it happening, plenty of them, but somehow everything pales into comparison when you're talking about David Beckham. Now Gilberto. Jamie Carragher was the man to meet the cross. Oh, are we seeing a more cautious defensive English approach perhaps over the last 12 minutes of this game? Are they setting out their stall to protect what they have?
What a job of protection Steve Gerrard has done all day. He has really impressed me, but I mean the way he has gone after the ball and the way he has administered his tackles.
Ronaldinho facing three English players, threads it through for Diego, who goes down under pressure from Ledley King.
That was foolish of Ledley King, because I don't think Diego was going anywhere, but now he sets up a Ronaldinho opportunity.
Oh, Beckham delivered from a set piece via the head of John Terry. Ronaldinho came close with a first half effort, but he's never one that likes to be outshone by anyone. Can he turn the tables on England here?
I'd love to be buying real estate from this referee, because he certainly gives you your money's worth when he marks out yards. Look at where he put that wall.
Ronaldinho, again it clips the top of the wall. We've seen that 3 or 4 times now. So the extra yardage not helping. It's Ronaldinho himself who will go across and take the corner. Naldo has come forward for Brazil here. We have 6 lined up in the box. Here's the header, and it's over the top. And it really should have been in. It's Afonso again who's come closer than anyone for Brazil to equalising.
And he should have equalised here. This is a great ball sent into him. Naldo feeds it inside. No question of Alfonso being offside. He has lots of target to shoot at, and he just slips it up over the top. He needs to bring it down about 6 inches, and the ball is in the roof of the net. But it was another good scoring opportunity for Brazil that they squandered.
He's almost unknown in his homeland, Afonso, having left for Sweden 5 years ago. Now Dyer with pace to burn, tracking it down in the corner. It's the tired legs of Gilberto, perhaps. Gerrard very adroitly away from Diego. Back to Dyer. Dyer stepping inside. It almost opened up for him. It'll be an English corner after the missed kick from Juan.
Brazil look a little bit tired at the back, don't they?
All the way they parted like the Red Sea there for Kieran Dyer. Certainly cause for concern for Dunga. There could be more cause for concern here, because King is forward for the corner. Wes Brown will be joining him as Downing takes it. Net at the near post by Ronaldinho. Now Brazil launching a breakout. Diego. Oh. Now he's allowed to play on. Good advantage play, Diego. And now Marcus Merkel bring it back and give the free kick. That's good refereeing from the German. Trying to play the advantage. As Peter Crouch comes on for the final 8 minutes. So it's A little and large swap.
That was quite a sight there, wasn't it? Little and large is right.
Ronaldinho. Second time back into the English box, met unflinchingly by Jamie Carragher. Now Dyer. That would have been interesting had he been able to cushion that ball, take it in his stride.
Dyer certainly made a great attempt at it, didn't he?
It's been slim pickings for Wagner Love tonight.
I'm surprised that he's looked them for 83 minutes, Wagner Love.
Brazil have perhaps been found wanting in terms of a cutting edge. Sure, if this result stays the way it does, there'll be some clamorings for the returns of the like of Ronaldo and Adriano. But Dunga has shown he's a coach that wants to do things his way. He's really imposed a rigour and a seriousness on this Brazilian side that perhaps wasn't there 12 months ago. Gilberto. Oh, space here for Diego, and Diego wasn't able to get any venom behind the shot. Side foot placement.
Trying to scoop it in by the keeper, and that wasn't going to happen. Robinson wasn't going to fall for that one. I'll tell you, he has caused a few problems since coming on, but Wes Brown, he hasn't played well at the back for England.
Ronaldinho holding off the initial challenge. Nicky Shorey, though, has barely put a foot wrong on his England debut. Here he is on the ball. Hasn't seen as much of the ball in the second half, but has certainly not looked out of his depth. The man who started his career with Leyton Orient, one of the lower division London clubs who play in the East End of London, where Frank Lampard started his career with West Ham.
I think Shorey has looked very well on that left-hand side.
Well, it'll be an even better wedding day for him tomorrow, won't it, if they can hold on here. But they got their work cut out because Diego is amongst them again. A cross that only favoured one man, and that was Paul Robinson. Five minutes to go in the very first English international at the brand new Wembley Stadium. They played for 76 years at the old version. Wes Brown trying to add an exclamation mark to the evening. It falls for Lampard. He can hit them from here. Not one of his better efforts. It had Steve McLaren excited. Magnificent sight, isn't it, Tommy?
Certainly is. It's a beautiful stadium, and just the tradition and the history that goes with it makes it all that more beautiful.
76 years at the old version. Who knows how many at this new version? Well, this is the very start of a brand new chapter. And is it going to start in the right sort of fashion for England? We have just a little under 4 minutes to try and protect this lead. Ronaldinho trying to snatch it away from them. Ronaldinho's cross is a really dangerous one, and well, Paul Robinson's punch could have gone anywhere off a deflection.
Oh, that was a terrible, terrible option that Paul Robinson decided to use there, and he almost knocked it in off a Brazilian player coming into him. I'm not sure why he just didn't grab it on his chest.
Diego again, the catalyst for Brazil. It's Naldo trying to impose himself in the area. England with 11 players back behind the ball. It's another aerial assault comes, but Wes Brown winning that duel against Afonso. Effective clearance too, right to the feet of Michael Owen. Peter Crouch. Dyer given too much to do on the follow-up and forced to push his man to the ground. Interesting role this for Kieran Dyer.
Yeah, it certainly is. Watch what happens here, but Robinson comes out to it and he punches it. Look at, almost punched it off a wall of Brazilian players. He is very lucky. I can't understand how he didn't just grab it, Adrian.
Yeah, it could have gone anywhere, couldn't it, off the deflection. Going to the bench is Frank Lampard to allow Michael Carrick to come on just for the last couple of minutes. Ronaldinho. Shorey wanted Robinson's arrival, and eventually it came.
So Shorey in his first cap is going to get 90 minutes, and he's going to get married tomorrow and probably called into the squad again for the game against Estonia on Wednesday. I mean, what a story that is for Shorey.
A story for Shorey. I like it.
Pardon the pun, yeah.
Well, England will set off in fine spirits to Estonia. If they can hold on here or perhaps build on their lead, because Kieran Dyer is through. Seeking out Peter Crouch. Well, he would have liked a ball in the air, I'm sure, Peter Crouch, but it was all along the ground.
Kieran Dyer has really added a lot of attacking abilities since coming on here. He's a striker, but he's got a free role striker, hasn't he? He's everywhere.
He'd only made 2 appearances in 2 years, Kieran Dyer, against Spain and Andorra. And is there time for one more change for England? I think there is, because Steven Gerrard is coming off Brazil. Want to get on with it. Well, Gerrard hasn't left yet. He's still on there.
It's a different looking role for Gerrard as far as I'm concerned. And he's performed it very well today. Well,
time and opportunities running out for Brazil. Can Ronaldinho make the most of this one? Header away from Wes Brown. Dyer has Downing herring away to his left. He's used the right-hand side instead, and Jermaine Jenas. England have plenty forward here, but Jenas has rather spoiled it.
Terrible ball from Jenas. All he has to do is hit it long. He has 2 players on the opposite wing.
Downing was begging for the ball in acres of space. 3 minutes of stoppage time, which we're already into. Wagner Love. Diego has looked the man most likely to bring it back for Brazil, but, well, they build him up.
He knocks you down.
Claudio Ranieri in attendance. Looks set to become Manchester City's next manager.
I thought he was going to stay at Parma.
He resigned this week, and all the indications are he's going to make a return to managing in the Premiership.
I thought he had enough with Chelsea.
The Tinker Man, they used to call him, didn't
they? He certainly did. He basically put together most of that Chelsea team that's there.
A result that will be met with widely differing reactions in respective countries. That's, of course, stating the obvious, but I'm sure the English media and press will be gushing in their praise if England hold on here. Victories over Brazil are a rare commodity, to say the least. This is Ronaldinho trying to change those headlines, but Wes Brown steps in, falls for Afonso. Last gasp stuff for Brazil. Gilberto Silva, the header is in! It's a last gasp equaliser for Brazil. And they have changed the headlines tomorrow. Diego is the man who's done it.
Well, this is just bad defending. Watch the way to get caught. England gets caught very flat, and as the ball comes inside, Ledley King gets taken out of it. The ball played across. Nobody went with him. Ledley King was beaten, and it was one of those cases. The ball was up for grabs. He gets to it.
With just a minute left in stoppage time, Diego scores his first Brazilian national team goal. What a season he's had for Werder Bremen, and he's come to snatch a victory away from England right at the death. He had looked the part ever since his introduction, Tommy, hadn't he, for Kaka?
Yeah, between himself and Alfonso had looked the part too. He looked like he had a few opportunities.
Well, the dream return to Wembley Stadium isn't quite that for England. It finishes at 1 apiece, but it'll feel in many ways like a defeat for Steve McLaren, who was so close to victory. And David Beckham in your picture would have taken many of the headlines after setting up John Terry for England's go-ahead goal. But 2 minutes into stoppage time, it was Diego who popped up and snatched a cruel late equaliser. England 1, Brazil 1. It finishes here at Wembley. We'll be right back.
This March, the battle for absolute supremacy will finally